Hello everyone, welcome back. So in case you just open Unity, you'll be presented to this window where you see the project browser and a few other buttons to creating new projects. So in case this is your first project, you see this button, New Project, alright? So let's click it and we'll start setting our project. So in this course we will learn how to make some sort of space shooter. There will be a very simple interaction with the mouse keys, so let's name it Space Shooter. And you can put your project in wherever location you want. It is a good practice to separate a folder just for your project, so I tend to use projects slash and then the project name. Alright, and very important here, we are going to make a very simple game, so we won't be using the 3D settings, we will use 2D. When you select this, it allows Unity to define some default settings for your game so that it runs in a good performance for a 2D. Okay, so after you set the name, the location, and selected the 2D option, just click Create Project in order for Unity to set up for you. Alright, for programming, we will use the built-in coding tool, which is MonoDevelop. It is a very good tool. It works pretty well on Windows and Mac, so it will suit us very well. Alright? We will be coding in C#, by the way. You could use JavaScript, for example, in Unity, but for this course, for simplicity and ease of understanding, we will be using C#. Alright, so back to Unity. Let's see the windows that are available for us. Alright? So the first window you see when you open Unity, it is the scene window, alright? It is this one. And the scene window is where you fiddle with the game. You can select elements, you can move them around, okay? You can move camera, you can move light sources, you can move 3D models. Anything that's going to be present in the game is going to be in the scene window, and you can move everything here, alright? Then we have the game window, which you see it is filled with blue right now. This is because we have no game elements positioned. You can see there is a camera on the scene, but there's nothing that is visual here yet, so it looks like everything is blue. But still, this window is exactly what you see in the game build. So whenever we hit play, which is this button, or whenever we run the game on Android, on iOS, on Xbox, everything that you see here is going to be present in these builds as well. So this is your actual game. This is the view of the player. Alright? So down here you have the project window. So the project window is where you keep all the game assets, okay, like prefabs, 3D models. You keep audio assets as well. So this is like the folder. This is everything you use in your game that can be dragged into the game, okay? And how do you drag these things into the game? You drag to the hierarchy. Okay, this is another important window in Unity, and this is where all your game elements are going to be placed in order to appear or not, depends on the element, in the game, okay, in the game stage. Alright, if you see in the right part of Unity there is the inspector window, okay, right now it is empty, there is absolutely nothing in here. It's because no game object has been selected. The inspector shows details of your game object. So, for example, you see in the hierarchy we already have one element, which is the main camera. Okay, so let's select this element, and whenever we select it, you see the inspector now has been populated with some variables. Okay, so I've been using a few terms here, but we want to keep things simple. So I've selected a game object, and in here I'm going to see the game components. Okay, components are like behaviors that are used by the game objects. For example, I selected a camera object, and here you see that there is a transform component which is responsible for positioning, rotation, scale. Okay, so position in general. Down here you see that there is a camera component. Okay, this is specific to this game object. Because this is a camera, there are behaviors that are inherent to cameras, right? So for example, there is the kind of the camera projection, there is the size of the camera, and something easier to understand is there is the background of the camera. So if you click in here, you'll be presented with a color palette. Okay, so you can select the color you want for your background. For this game, we will just use black. Okay, since we are in space, of course. Okay, so before moving forward as well, you have to be aware that we will be dealing with scripts here. So uh, besides learning how the Unity interface works, we'll have to learn how Mono works. Okay, Mono Develop works in this case, which is our IDE, our programming interface. So to start, we need to create an empty script. Okay, so just right click in the assets window, okay, in the project window, go to create, okay, and then select C# script. You see that a C# script will be presented here in this window, so you can name it, for instance, ship controller. All right, okay, there we go, we created our first script. And to see the script, before that, you see the inspector doesn't only works for game objects. If you select the script, it will open a very simple details here. In this case, it shows a snippet of your script. You see that there is already pre-populated code in here. There is a class named shipController, there is a method called start, there is update. So these are things that we're going to deal with later. But to deal with this code, to modify this code, we need an external interface, we need an external editor, which is Mono in this case. So to open this script in Mono, just double click this file, alright? And then you see Mono Flash here, and it opened the Mono window, alright? Okay, so there you go. You see that there is a tab called Ship Controller, okay? There are the import lines here, which is using, if you come from Java, for example, you use import, but in C# you use the using keyword. So there are a few things that are pre-populated. There's the ship controller, okay? There's the start method and the update method. We are going to deal with these in the next video, so I hope to see you soon.